How's it going, my true people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back with week 7 of the IBL for you, and this week we're going up against ItzSawk and his Minnesota Twineedles. And before we get into this one, I have to do the usual shoutouts. Thank you to Stromful for joining my team this week, and thank you to Joseph Games for recording the battle for me as always. A special thank you to Stromful this week because we had some trouble genning this team. Kyurem-Black, which you can see the second one on your screen there, was a little bit problematic being gen this week. Didn't want to be gen Kyurem, put up a bit of a fight, and you'll see it has a different nickname this week because to get his revenge for wasting so much time genning the Kyurem, Stromful actually re-nicknamed it with his usual Kyurem-Black nickname, so that's why we have a different nickname there. But you'll also see the first one on your screen, the Scissor, Red the Scissor, making the debut on the channel for your Bowland Bovines being traded in this week, so that's really, really exciting too. And if you didn't see last week's battle, definitely go check that out against OP Jellicent. But I'm going to spoil it now. Our record is currently 3-3. If you're wondering why I don't put my record in the thumbnails, most other teams have the records in the thumbnails. The simple reason I do that is because I watch a lot of Draft League content, and I often watch the playlists after seasons are finished. I go back and watch people's playlists. And sometimes I'll accidentally see a thumbnail of an upcoming battle and it will spoil the result of the one that I'm watching, and it just always bothers me. I have no problem when other people want to put their results in their thumbnails, of course, but just because I know the spoilers get to me sometimes, I don't put them in my own. Just personal preference, that's all. But yes, I should therefore say every week what our record is so you guys can remember, and we are 3-3, so making sure that we don't go negative here is really, really important. I think we can make playoffs if we can finish with any kind of positive record the way the division's kind of shaping up. And I want playoffs. I desperately want playoffs here. I think we have a fire team. I think we've lost a couple of games to me choking that we could have otherwise won. And I think with more time and more prep, we can give anyone in this league a game. So I definitely want to try and get to playoffs if I can. So with that in mind, I'm going to tell you what we brought with this game. First up, Scissor, and I should say as well, this is a game that I was actually able to prep for, so shout out to Checkmate Ben for building a team with me, shout out to Stromful and to the one guy for doing the mocks with me as well, and this, as I say, we're more prepared than we have been the past couple of weeks where I was rushed because of my holiday. So, let's get into this. We have the Scissor, Red the Scissors, kicking us off here with an expert belt set, quite bulky, a little bit of speed, a lot of attack, a little bit of special attack, because we have Bullet Punch, HP Ice, U-Turn, and Superpower. His best check to this thing looks like the Gliscor, and HP Ice will two-shot it, will outspeed a fully defensive Gliscor. And if he brings the sets that I'm expecting, it should be like max HP, max Fizz Def to try and take on that Pinsir. So we have a pretty good shot of being able to HP Ice the Gliscor, and he probably won't outspeed me to roost up on me. So that's pretty nice. Scissor can beat its main check on his team. Superpower hits things like the Beware, but also the Snorlax, which I thought would come to this game. Snorlax was a huge problem, and I'm still shocked that it didn't come to this match. I think it probably of all his mons had the scariest matchup against me, but it didn't come, and I was relieved to see that. So that's the other reason we had Superpower on there. U-Turn and Bullet Punch, of course, priority and Stab, just very, very nice. The Expert Belt, just meaning we do a little bit extra damage to the Beware, to the Snorlax, and to the Gliscor. Then next up we have, well, not Infinite the Kyurem-Black, because this week it is Emergency the Kyurem-Black, shout out to Stromful. This set is really, really cool. This set is, I believe, Sean Blind Messiah's favourite set, Ben told me. So we kind of stole it off him a little bit. It is a Spadef Kyurem-Black with Roost, Dragon Tail, Ice Beam, and I don't even remember what the fourth move was. It was something else strange. I don't remember. Maybe it was Sub. I think it was Sub, Roost, Ice Beam, Dragon Tail, something like that. And we have the Roselli Berry, and it's Spadef. The idea being he had a Xurkitree on his draft, which was the other thing I was terrified of, which again didn't come, thank God. And Xurkitree, basically, if it got the +1 off the Z Hypnosis on the speed, and then went for a Tail Glow on some sleep turns, that thing could be a major problem. Now, fortunately, I do have Tapu Koko to try and prevent the sleep turns, but I can't prevent him just getting the boost off the Z Hypnosis anyway to his speed, which is scary. So, and me setting Electric Terrain for him is terrifying. So Kyurem kind of gave us a really good check to that, because chances are he'd have to run Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam to be able to hit the Kyurem for any kind of damage. So the Roselli Berry meant we could take that resisted fairy hit, or sorry, we could take that super effective fairy hit, but with that half damage from the Roselli Berry and just Dragon Tail him out and phase him. So really, really cool Kyurem-Black here, and also potential phasing for like Curse Lax and things like that. Then we have Mega Pinsir. Mega Pinsir is our win con in this game. It's Swords Dance, 3 attacks, Quick Attack, Return, and I believe Close Combat for things like the Lax, the Beware, and stuff. So just really, really offensive Mega Pinsir with setup, just trying to sweep at late game, basically. All this match was about positioning Mega Pinsir to win. Then we have a Gligar defensive defog roost set, basically. Can't really touch the Gliscor, but other than that, can just come in, take up some hits, especially for the Mega Beedrill, which I didn't think had matchup against me, but it has arrived. And I can't not prep for a Mega Beedrill because it is a very scary Pokemon, so that's what Gliscor's here to kind of check. Then we have a Spadef Black Sludge, has a stack Neoligo. Didn't think the Espeon would come, but it has. But even so, I'm fairly confident in playing around the Espeon and being able to get up T-Spikes. Could be really, really important for, again, like a Curse Lax or something, especially if it's Gluttony rather than Immunity. Then I can try and get up some T-Spikes and chip that thing down. Usually Gluttony sets obviously don't run Rest because they recycle, so they can't really get rid of a bad poison, which is nice. Also got Clear Smog on it because I can, again, the Snorlax, I can go for the Clear Smog on a turn that he Earthquakes or something to kill me, and potentially get rid of that thing's Curse Boost. Also can potentially Clear Smog a Gliscor if that thing wants to try and set up with Swords Dance or something like that. So basically, just a defensive Neoligo has a stack set with Power Gem as well to 2-hit KO a couple of things like the Mega Beedrill and like the Gliscor if he tries setting up on me. And then finally, we have a Magnet Modest Tapu Koko. Really, really cool set. T-Bolt, Hidden Power, Ice. I want to say Roost and Volt Switch, but I'm not quite sure on the final couple of moves. But basically, just T-Bolt, Hidden Power, Ice, Modest Magnet means that everything on his team is getting ripped apart. The Gliscor, as I say, I'm expecting to be fully Fizz-Def. Shouldn't have any Spadef investment, so just a little bit of chip on that thing will put it in range of a HP Ice, and then everything else in his team pretty much drops to a Thunderbolt. So Koko is the other win con here, and certainly probably the best breaker here against his team. So, with all that being said, what do I expect from his team? Well, it's not Z Manaphy, so that makes my life a lot easier. The Beedrill is kind of walled by both Scizor and Gligar, which is really, really nice. Could potentially be a Heat Gliscor, but I think it should be defensive Gliscor, most likely. And the Beware. The Beware is the real problem, because that's the thing that he wants to get kills with. He's trying to get Beware to MVP. He loves that thing, so I'm really expecting him to go all out to get Beware some kills here, and it to probably be a set that will catch me by surprise. And then last up, the Kamala. I need to be wary of like a Choice Band Sleep Talk Last Resort set, because on my team, don't have the best switch-ins. Gligar is actually 2-hit KO'd by Choice Banded Last Resort. So if it is that, I'm just going to have to bring in things that can outspeed it and maybe have to take a hit and sack them onto it, and we might have to trade 1-for-1 on that mon. So that's pretty scary. With all that in mind, I decided to lead with Scizor. It means that I can actually do something to Kamala if he leads with that with a superpower. But more importantly, I think he's likely to lead with the Espeon. And this is something that I did in all my mocks that Espeon came to, and it worked really, really well. I basically lead with Scizor and I scout for Hidden Power Fire by going into Kyurem-Black. His most likely switch in, if he doesn't have the Hidden Power Fire to my Scizor, is the Gliscor, which gets me Kyurem-Black in on the Gliscor to fire off Ice Beams. So it's kind of a no drawback play, and he does pivot out because a Banded Bullet Punch will kill him, so he has to be wary of that as well. And he goes out into the Manaphy, which caught me by surprise. I was really expecting the Gliscor to come out on my Scizor, but this makes perfect sense. If he was expecting a Banded Bullet Punch and he wants to keep his Gliscor healthy for Mega Pinsir, then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I think that he's probably going to fear the Fusion Bolt or whatever, so I'm just going to go for the Dragon Tail, but he doesn't. He just goes straight for the Dazzling Gleam. That absolutely bounces off with the Roselli Berry, doing like, what, 40 damage? So even without the Roselli Berry, we're going to tank 2 of those, and because the Xurkitree hasn't come, I can play pretty recklessly with my Kyurem. I can just be really offensive with it and just try and like break down his team with it. So here I'm just going to go for the Dragon Tail again as we phase out into the Espeon. It does a decent amount, but that Dragon Tail would do huge damage if we connected it. Here I'm going to save my Kyurem because I can potentially roost up on things, and like it just doesn't feel worth sacking it when he pretty much has to go for a Psychic or a Dazzling Gleam here, and I have a Pinsir in the back. As he does go for the Dazzling Gleam, and I'm like, okay, I try to get a handle on this set, and I'm still not sure what it was. It looked like from the damage it was maybe like Modest Twisted Spoon or something. It was weird. It didn't look like Timid Specs. It was just, I'm still not sure what that set was. But obviously he changed up moves, so it definitely wasn't Timid Specs. So I don't know, maybe Modest Twisted Spoon, not really sure, but I'm going to go for the Bullet Punch anyway as he goes into Kamala, and I'm like, oh thank god, I don't know what this set was, but either way, I do not have to deal with it, and that is so, so important, as I just 2-hit KO this thing with Bullet Punch. So, that is a huge, huge relief for me as the Kamala goes down, and here he goes into Beedrill, and I'm like, well, this is one of my Beedrill switch-ins. This and Gligar are my Beedrill switch-ins. I calced HP Fire, and I'm like, Scissor's pretty, like, expendable as matchup. I don't really need anything but the Koko and the Mega Pinsir, I feel, to win this game. So I'm like, I may as well just stay in. Like, Hidden Power Fire is going to do nothing. Mega Beedrill has no special attack. So I'm just going to go for the BP, get off absolutely massive damage. May as well. And he goes for the knock, and I thought, okay, he probably thinks I'm banned, and he wants to get rid of my choice band. Otherwise, he's maybe worried that I'll just run shop on his team. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand that play. He does lose his B, and B was kind of walled by the Gligar and by the Scissor. Maybe he thought I was going to go into Gligar there, and he's going to try and get rid of my Violite, but even without my Violite, I built my spread that I could get knocked off and still wall a Mega Beedrill, so yeah, not quite sure. Here he goes into the Beware, and I'm just going to stay in because I want damage on this Beware, and Scissor's done his job. If he's got a Fire Punch, he's got Fire Punch. But he goes for the Ice Punch, predicting the Gligar, which is fair enough, as I just go for the Superpower. And again, I cannot get a handle on this spread. He outsped me, which means he's got some speed investment. But then this Superpower did, even on a fluffy Beware, like, more than max HP, the calc seemed to be telling me. And I was like, am I missing something? I still really don't understand what was happening here. Because it seemed to be more than max HP. It should have done more than 50% with the Superpower, so really confused on that one. But regardless, we get off some big chip on the Beware, and here I'm going to go into Gligar, because if he's got a Fire Punch, he's going for it this turn, and if he's choice locked in any way, he's pivoting out regardless. And he seems to be choice locked, because he does pivot out, or maybe just not have the Fire Punch, as I go into Batfink Jr. on Big Batfink. It's dad versus son here, which is pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, I can't touch this Gligar. I literally cannot touch it. I probably have like Earthquake and U-turn. I don't even know. I have like Earthquake knockoff, I think. Earthquake knockoff. So I just like, I can't get rid of this thing's Toxic Orb. It's already activated. I can't do anything. So I'm just going to go hard into Emergency. Try and get an Ice Beam off as he goes for the SD. And I'm like, okay, if I don't know, if he'd gone for like Hidden Power Ice there on Gligar, I would have taken it. And then I would have been able to Ice Beam him. I just wasn't sure what he was going to go for. So I was like, well, I may as well just go into Kyurem. If it's a sack, it's a sack. But he reveals to be fast, offensive SD Gligar. And I'm like, okay. Didn't expect that. That's a little bit scary. What I absolutely cannot allow is for him to get a Rock Polish off or an Agility off. I don't remember which one this one gets. I think it's Agility, because then it becomes quite scary, you know. Then I really do have a problem. I have Bullet Punch into Quick Attack, but that doesn't look like it's going to kill even offensive Gliscor. But modest Hidden Power Ice always kills offensive Gliscor. And I was pretty sure that he was fully offensive Gliscor from the way he played it. And as you can see there, it does just pick him off. He now goes into the Espeon, and I'm like, well, I know this thing isn't Scarf because it changed up Moot, so I'm just going to T-Bolt, and I don't think you're taking this. I'm guessing he thought from the Hidden Power Ice damage that I was Specs, but obviously I'm modest, so that's why I was able to do that much damage to his Gliscor. I can understand him thinking I was Specs or whatever into HP Ice, but now Beware comes out, and again, unless he's AV, this is just going to kill him, so I'm going to go straight for the Thunderbolt, but he's Scarf Beware, and I'm like, okay, I have no clue what this set was. It was bulky Scarf, like, I don't even know anymore, like, 252 HP and some defense Scarf? No idea. So I just go for the T-Bolt. We managed to live the Earthquake, and this I should say, there was definitely a roll on the Earthquake. I know my opponent knows this. It didn't matter at all, because basically, if he killed me with Earthquake there, he scarfed into Earthquake, I go into Mega Pinsir, I click Swords Dance, and I win the game, because I outspeed the Manaphy, and I outspeed this, and I'll be able to kill this thing with a quick attack. So, the roll didn't matter, other than he didn't get a kill with this Beware, so that does suck for him. If it was a roll, like, we didn't actually calculate. Like I say, I cannot figure out what the hell his spread was. And then I go for a T-Bolt here on the Manaphy, because unless he's Scarf, I'm going to kill that too. And Foghorn Leghorn is able to clean up the game as we hoped. So our Wincon Mega Pinsir never actually hit the field. But it doesn't matter. Nice short one after last week's real long chess match. This one was definitely far more offensive from both players. And we were able to come out with a nice 5-0 victory. GG to my man Sawk. It felt really, really nice to get back to winning ways. He's definitely surprised me with some of his prep. You know, I don't know what the Kamala was, but that thing scared me. Didn't expect that to come. The Beware baffles me to this day. No idea what that was. And the Gliscor I thought would just be defensive for Mega Pinsir, so that was pretty heat for him to bring a setup. I'm guessing Dual Dance set as well. But fortunately, we had all the pieces here to be able to handle all the kind of surprise heat sets that he brought. Next week, I believe we take on the Fort Wayne something Gastrodons. I do apologise. Coached by Bright Lovely Manbird. That is a hard name to say when you've only ever read it and never said it out loud. Who was a replacement coach in the league. He also has had a bit of a rough season like Sawk since taking over, so we definitely don't want to fall foul of him. I know he said that he was kind of going to be memeing the rest of the season, and they're the scariest matches to me. When people bring heat sets like Sawk did, they're the scariest matches because you never know what's going to come. So we're going to bring our A game to that, and hopefully with a win there, I think that might tie up playoffs for us. At 5-3, I think we'd have a really, really good shot at playoffs going into final week. So not definite, but that's what I'm aiming for. If we can get a win next week, we'll be in a great position, I think. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. GG against my man ItzSawk. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, guys, and I'll catch you again next time.